What's up, investors? It's the Russian dude. Let's get straight to the point and talk about some ridiculous Russian propaganda. Okay. Once again today we have fully brainwashed Z-Patriots. Such as, for example, right here you can see a girl or woman is like literally praying on her leader Vladimir Putin, carrying a flag or a blanket with literally his entire face printed all over it. And then she at the same time lives in this apartment, which is like literally just naked walls, one bed, one poster. That's it. I don't see any windows, I don't see nothing. Some Nordic jails even look better than this apartment with... Or maybe, you know, maybe she's like a very big follower of a minimalistic design. We will never know. But at the same time, it is absolutely insane. How much can you be brainwashed? Like, what is the level of being brainwashed? That you know your leaders stealing money, living in wealth, living literally in palaces worth of billions of dollars, while at the same time you can barely afford like this apartment which rent is gonna be like $50–100 per month, and you still worship this guy. I don't know how, but in this case Putin just did a brilliant job, unfortunately brainwashing a very big portion of the Russian population. But well, truth always finds the way to eventually come up, so it is just a matter of time before things change. Hopefully we're gonna see them sooner rather than later. But for now, let's continue talking about some more serious stuff. First of all, I'm gonna give you an update from the Ukrainian front lines. We're gonna also talk about Ukrainians trying to bypass Crimea Peninsula. Then, the next topic, we're gonna talk about Russians launching space weapons and maybe even potentially doing a space warfare. And ultimately, we're gonna talk about Putin, who wants to seize a part of Finland, because apparently in some historical archives hundreds of years ago, he found one letter from somebody to somebody which said that apparently these several pieces of land, several kilometers, they do belong to Russia, and well, he's gonna build his future narrative around this letter moving forward, I'm 100% certain. But so yeah, to begin with, right here, first of all, is the video from the Kharkov frontline city called Vovchansk, where Ukrainians continue to push out Russians, and this time they are using an American military vehicle called Striker. And since Russians no longer have any feasible progress inside Vovchansk or anywhere across Kharkov frontline, well, yes, they do exactly the same, trying to literally demolish the city to the ground. And yes, there are still residents living inside Vovchansk. Besides that, there was an attack of the Z army against Kharkov, and reportedly a local kindergarten suffered an extensive damage. Then we can see a video from Chasiv Yar, which is by some people called the third Bakhmut, and just like in Vovchansk, Russians can no longer capture it, well, the tactics they use is exactly the same. In Luhansk region, Ukrainians were able to find a pretty well hidden Russian self-propelled artillery system called Sta-S and successfully destroy it. And by the way guys, as always, every single video or photo I'm showing here, full and uncensored version, will be on my Patreon, the link is down below. Next is the video from Yasnavuta, Donetsk region, where Ukrainians are using their own developed reconnaissance drone called Shark, and they're able to find a Russian drone operator unit. Then they literally pinpointed their location on the map and used HIMARS to cease them to exist. But unfortunately, according to some Western intelligence, Russians did have a very minor success in at least 3 to 4 different settlements along the eastern front line, such as Sokol, Nitailova, Solovyova, and a little bit of Klishivka, which, by the way, it is worth mentioning that the Russian propaganda claimed that they captured full Klishivka, like the entirety of it, for the second time. And here is the most significant video of the last 24 hours which I was able to find, which is basically Ukrainians using also their own naval drones called Sea Baby. And by the way, they literally installed multiple launch rocket systems on this naval drone, and are trying to bypass Crimea by attacking Russian positions on Kinburn Spit. Kinburn Spit is this pretty good defense wall, if you wanna think about it like this, where Russian bases are located and Russian units. So every single time Ukrainians are trying to go all the way from Kherson region or from Mykolaiv all the way to Crimea, this Kinburn Spit serves Russians as a very good intelligence territory, very good logistically located territory. Well, Russians are being targeted by Ukrainians on Kinburn Spit, and in case Ukrainians can take control over this piece of land, this will significantly increase their chance of bypassing Crimea to the west of this peninsula. Now let's talk about another relatively interesting / crazy thing, which is Russians trying to literally dispatch weapons in space. But first of all, before we proceed, guys, if you do like this style of daily news updating, and I'm trying to make them pretty unusual, like if you like this style, please like this video, subscribe to my channel, helps a lot with my work, you have no idea. So for this, thank you so much. You can also check my second channel, Russian Dude Investing, if you are interested in the stock market news. The link to my second channel is down below. And so yeah, speaking about these Russian weapons in space, reportedly on May 16th, which is basically last week, at least at the moment of recording this video, Russians did launch a Soyuz rocket from Plesetsk airfield, or Cosmodrome like we call it, which allegedly was carrying 9 different military satellites, which were dispatched on the very low Earth orbit, the very same one where American spy satellites are flying. I mean, obviously this is not a coincidence. Whenever you launch things to space, every single meter, every single decimal point counts. So Russians just accidentally, like they claim, launching their satellites in the same orbit as American ones, this is just simply, we just don't believe it, right? Like, it is simply out of the question. And we might not know the exact name and exact purpose of these military satellites, but according to some experts, yes, these are military satellites which are capable of disrupting the work of other enemies' satellites, whether by attacking them directly or emitting some electronic warfare system like signals, which will jam the transmission of other satellites of different countries. And just for a moment, Russia itself, not even that long time ago, like no more than a couple of weeks ago, they did urge the world society to stop this ridiculous space race. Because this space race, this confrontation in space, it only depletes the resources of different countries. I mean, they said this is just pointless. Why would we waste our money doing such childish stuff in space? Well, less than a couple of weeks later, this is exactly what they do, which by the way gives you another reason not to trust Putin whenever he says that, yeah, Russia is ready for peace negotiations, we are ready to stop this war, it is Ukrainians who don't want to do it. Because, and I'm sure you already know this as well, as soon as there is ceasefire, most likely Putin and the army will take this as an opportunity to resupply the forces and prepare another attack several years later. But this is not even the craziest thing which Putin proposed recently, because another one which allegedly came from the Ministry of Defense of Russia. They said that, you know what, this border between Russia, Finland and Latvia, you know what, it kinda does not make sense. I think Russia should get more of the Baltic Sea and get closer to the territory of Finland. And I mean, yeah, if we take some of your Finnish islands, or if like Swedish islands, like, no, well, this is historic document. This was based on the history. It's not like we take this out of nowhere. And I mean, obviously, the Ministry of Defense of Russia does not have time to come up with ridiculous ideas like this. It is Putin himself who wants to restore the great Russian Empire. Most likely this original idea came from him directly. But long story short, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Russia already even assembled some documents, some proof, and they even sent this to the United Nations to open like a claim, to open an investigation, whether these territories, which right now belong to Finland, Latvia and a little bit of Sweden, whether this actually belongs to Russia. To be honest, the chances of them succeeding to prove this claim I see as very minimal. But obviously other countries, they have to take this seriously no matter what, because, well, you already see what happened in Ukraine. And so Finnish Ministry of Foreign Affairs, they are trying right now to develop some countermeasures. What if, in case Russia decides to do some actual military intervention? Same thing with Sweden. According to its commander-in-chief Mr. Putin, right now the Swedish army is preparing to respond in case there is some kind of activities from the Russian side. And specifically, they are extremely concerned about this island in between Finland, in between Sweden and Russia, which is called Gotland, located all the way in the Baltic Sea, because this island, according to the Russian narrative, is something what can actually belong to Russia itself. And well, whenever you see this island, it is extremely close to the Scandinavian countries. This is just a perfect opportunity for Putin to put his military bases right there, so all the other Nordic NATO members will be within the range for his rocket systems. I mean, surprise, surprise, right? In the very beginning, just several months ago, the propagandists were saying, why would we need NATO territory? We don't care about this at all. The Z-Patriots were the same, like, you are crazy, we're only concerned about Ukraine. Well, now look what's happening. And ultimately, now let's talk about a very secret project of a Russian tank. And to be honest, it is so scary that even the Russians themselves are afraid to use it. Guys, if you know exactly what I'm gonna talk about, please go ahead and check my Patreon. This is an exclusive extra chapter for my existing Patreon members. This is me of saying thank you for your support. Right now, this is the main part of my income for the Russian Dude channel. So I would appreciate a lot if you go ahead and check my Patreon. As always, the link is down below for these guys. Thank you so much. Well, there you have it. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel if you like this style of daily news updates. Don't forget about my second channel, The Russian Dude Investing, and all the other useful links like PayPal, Instagram, Patreon, and of course merch are down below. Thanks so much for watching. See you tomorrow.